entire economy of the entire industry, if we are studying the cost of the entire industry, if we are studying the revenue from all the companies, all the firms, that becomes macroeconomics. So this is the basic difference between microeconomics and macroeconomics. Macroeconomics studies the individual unit and macroeconomics studies the entire population. This is the basic difference. What is there in our syllabus? Macroeconomics. So we are going to study the entire population, not the one individual unit, not one consumer, not one producer, not one firm, not one any entity or unit. We are going to see the all things together, right? So we understand what is the meaning of macroeconomics. Macroeconomics studies the entire population and not just one unit. So this is the meaning of macroeconomics. Okay. Now, what do you mean by scope of macroeconomics? What is the meaning of scope of macroeconomics? The scope of macroeconomics says that what all things we are going to study in the macroeconomics. I repeat, what all things, what all subjects, what all topics, and what all things we are going to study under this subject, under macroeconomics. Okay, that becomes the scope of macroeconomics, right? Understand? Okay, so now what all things we study? We study various things. For example, one you can write. You can give a heading: scope of macroeconomics. You can write it down. Scope of macroeconomics, right? So first important thing is national income. You can write down. First point: we study national income. So what is national income? National income is the income of a nation. Okay, it is also called as GNP or GDP. What is GNP? GNP is gross national product. What is GDP? GDP is gross domestic product. What is the difference between GNP and GDP? The difference is GNP includes income also from the foreign trade. Okay, what is GDP? GDP is only the production or the income from the domestic activities. Right? Right? So what did I say? We study gross national income, gross domestic income. Like these, there are various concepts. For example, we have GNP, as I said, we have GDP, we have NNP, we have NDP. What is NG? What is NNP? Net National Product. What is NDP? Net Domestic Product. What is there is personal income, there is domestic income, there is per capita income. There are various concepts at the aggregate level. On all these concepts we study under macroeconomics. So what is their meaning, how it is calculated, what is the difference between each topic, how they are used, okay, and how meaningful they are for our understanding and also for the economy. Okay, so all these concepts are studied under macroeconomics. Okay, so this is the first topic under macroeconomics, under the scope of macroeconomics. Clear? Okay. What is the second thing? Second thing is employment and unemployment. Employment and unemployment. This is also a aggregate concept. So whichever aggregate concept is there, we will study in macroeconomics. How come this is aggregate? How come this is aggregate concept? Because the unemployment exists, or whatever it is, the employment we talk about at the national level. Right now, employment in the agriculture sector, employment in the industrial sector, employment in the industries, right? So there are two concepts. One is employment, other is unemployment. So these are the opposite concepts. What do you mean by unemployment? When a person is called he is unemployed, a person is called unemployed when only a person is wanting to work, a person is willing to work, is physically and mentally fit to work. And if he is not or she is not getting a job, then only he or she is called as unemployed. For example, if a person doesn't want to work, if a person doesn't want to work, he's physically fit, he's mentally fit, but he doesn't want to work, whether he will be called unemployed, will he be called unemployed? No, he will not be called as unemployed because he himself do not want to work. Although he is physically fit or mentally fit, okay, but he only doesn't want to work, therefore he is not unemployed, right? Then if a person wants to work, he is willing to work, he is qualified, everything is fine, okay, everything is fine. But what happens if he is not physically well, he is not physically fit, he is not mentally fit, whether he is not physically fit, not mentally fit, then will he get the job? Will he be offered a job in a company, in an industry? No. Because he is not physically fit to work, he is not mentally fit to work. Though he is got qualification, maybe he is willing to work, whatever it is, but he is not getting job just because of his physical fitness or mental fitness. So he will also be not called as an unemployed person. When a person will be called unemployed, when he is physically fit, mentally fit, and he wants to work, he is willing to work, and he is wanting to work, then only he will be called as unemployed. Okay, so we study the unemployment rate, the employment rate, what are the causes of unemployment, what are the nature of unemployment, what are the types of unemployment. All these concepts, all these topics we study in macroeconomics. Okay, now third point. Third point is price level. Price level. It is also called as price index. Price index. Or you can say general price level. It is not about a price of one commodity. If we are studying a price of one commodity, it will go under microeconomics, microeconomics, right? But we are not studying a price of one commodity. We are seeing or studying the price in the entire economy. For example, prices of agricultural commodities, price of clothes, not price of one cloth, the price of the clothing industry, right? The prices, the wholesale price index, the general price index, the prices of all the commodities, average prices of all the commodities we study under macroeconomics. This helps us this helps us this helps us to understand whether there is inflationary situation or recessionary situation or any other problems in the economy. For example, for example, if the price level, if the price level is more than required price level in the economy. For example, prices should be around 5%. For example, the price level is at 5, and the required price level is only 3. Okay, what does it mean? The actual price level is 5, and required 5 level is how much? 3. 3, right? So 2 prices are extra, right? The price level is exceeding, price level is more than the actual required price level, so it creates inflationary situation in the economy. What is inflationary situation? It is the situation of rising prices. Okay, so inflation is not required, inflation should not be there in the economy just because poor people, middle class people will not be able to survive or buy, purchase goods and services in the economy, right? So there should not be inflation. There also should not be recession. What do you mean by recession? The price level is lower than required price level. The price level is lower than or less than required price level. अगर जितनी प्राइस चाहिए उससे कम प्राइस है, what will happen? ये तो अच्छा है कंज्यूमर के लिए, दिस इज गुड फॉर अस एज अ कंज्यूमर, बट what about producers, what about investors? If they are not getting profit, if they are making loss, what will happen? They will not invest, they will not take production, right? Exactly. So they will not take production. If they are not taking production, if they are not investing, there will be no production. When there is no production, there is no employment. लोगों को काम नहीं मिलेगा, और लोगों को काम नहीं मिलेगा मतलब they will not get income. And again, if they do not get income, again it will go into recession, right? तो मतलब प्राइस कम भी नहीं होनी चाहिए, प्राइस ज्यादा भी नहीं होनी चाहिए. When we will get to know this? When we study the price level. Okay, price level. So this is the important factor we study under macroeconomics, right? How many points are over? 3. Fourth one. Point number 4. Point number 4 is public finance. Public finance. Point number 4 is public finance. What is public finance? Public finance is I'm sure you can hear me all. What is public finance? Public finance is the financial activities of the government. It is the financial activities of the government. Normally, this public finance is presented or can be understood by the budget. By the budget, which is every year declared by the government. हम उसको क्या बोलते हैं? Budget, right? The budget is also called as fiscal policy. The budget is also called as fiscal policy. Okay, fiscal policy is budget. Budget is fiscal policy. There are 3 main activities undertaken by the government. There are 3 main activities undertaken by the government. One is public revenue. One is public revenue. Second is public expenditure, and third is public debt. Third is public debt. What is public revenue? Public revenue is the revenue of the government. Public revenue is the revenue of the government. How does the government get the revenue? Government gets the revenue through two sources. There are two sources for the revenue for the government. One source is tax revenue, and other source is non-tax revenue. What is tax revenue? Tax revenue is the revenue from the taxes collected by the government. Tax revenue is the revenue collected through taxes. There are two types of taxes for the government, from the government. There are two types of taxes. One is direct tax and the other is indirect tax. There are two types of taxes, direct taxes and indirect taxes. What can you please tell me somebody examples of direct taxes and indirect taxes? The most popular type of indirect tax, which is very popular nowadays, government has just introduced. Income tax. Shabir said income tax is direct tax. Absolutely correct. Shabir only said GST is indirect tax. Absolutely correct, Shabir. Very nice. Fantastic. According to Shabir, as Shabir said, he is absolutely right. Income tax is direct tax and GST, goods and service tax, is the indirect tax. We will see in the next lecture what do you mean by direct tax and indirect taxes. Okay. Now we just have to understand there are two taxes, direct taxes and indirect taxes. From these two sources, government gets the revenue, right? Then, okay, now these are the revenue. What is the second? Public expenditure. Second is public expenditure. What is public expenditure? Public expenditure is the expenditure made by the government for 1 year. Okay, in a particular year. So public expenditure is the expenditure made by the government. Okay, there are various classifications of the public expenditure. It could be productive expenditure, it could be development expenditure, it could be unproductive also, it could be budget expenditure, it could be non-budgetary expenditure, it could be educational expenditure. There are various types of public expenditure which we are going to study in the next lectures, next few lectures. Okay, now we are only concerned about public expenditure. What is the expenditure? What is public expenditure? Public expenditure is the expenditure by the government, right? This is the topic which we are going to study in the macroeconomics, right? Third one. What is the third one? Can anybody tell me? First one was public revenue. Second one was public expenditure. What is that? Somebody please type it. Public debt. Right. Public debt. Right. It is also called as public borrowings. Okay. So what do you mean by public borrowings or public debt? It is not borrowing by the people. It is borrowing by the government. Government also borrows for short term, for long term. There are various instruments for the government to borrow from the public. Government can borrow either from its own people inside the country, or it can also borrow from other countries, right? Why government does borrowing? Government does borrowing to finance its expenditure. For example, India as being a poor country, not poor country, we can say developing country. India being a developing country has the funds limitations. Many poor people are there, okay? Large number of people are poor. Therefore, the government is not getting enough taxes from the people, right? But government has to spend. Government has to spend on education, government has to spend on their health, government has to spend for development, government has to spend for like this corona cases, you know, government has to spend huge money, huge capital in the economy. लेकिन government को इतना पैसा तो taxes से मिलता नहीं है. Why? Because people are poor. 10%, 20% people are only paying the taxes because they can afford to pay the taxes. Their income is more than the taxable income, right? So government is getting taxes only from the limited people. लेकिन खर्चा तो उनको सब पे करना है, राइट? तो मतलब कि गवर्नमेंट एक्सपेंडिचर इज मोर देन पब्लिक रेवेन्यू. मतलब गवर्नमेंट का एक्सपेंडिचर ज्यादा है, खर्चा ज्यादा है और उनका इनकम कम है. देयरफॉर गवर्नमेंट ये फाइनेंस करने के लिए, गवर्नमेंट को खर्चा ज्यादा करने के लिए गवर्नमेंट हैज टू बोरो. सो देयरफॉर दिस बोरोइंग वी स्टडी इन पब्लिक फाइनेंस अंडर macroeconomics, right? Any doubt? If anybody has doubt, please raise your hand. Okay, next. Yeah, I got it. Thanks, Neelu. Thanks, Shik. Next, we also are going to study consumption and investment in the economy. Consumption and investment in the economy. It is not the consumption of an individual. It is not the consumption of a person. It is the consumption in the economy. It is the investment in the economy. So, what is the consumption pattern? What is the average propensity? What is the marginal propensity? What is the level of investment? What is the saving? What are the trends of saving? What are the trends of consumption? What are the trends of investment? All such things we are going to study in the macroeconomics. Understood? Consumption and investment. Then next one. Next, I'm sure you all are noting it down. The most important topic, next important topic is, which we study in macroeconomics, demand for money and supply of money. Demand for money and supply of money are also studied in macroeconomics. It is not studied in microeconomics. It is studied in macroeconomics, M-A-C-R-O, macroeconomics. So there are some theories on macroeconomics. There are some theories on demand for money, and there are theories on supply of money. Who is the supplier of money? Can anybody tell me who is the supplier of money? Who controls the supply of money in the economy? For example, who controls the supply of money? Shabbir. Very nice, Shabbir. He says RBI. What is RBI? What is RBI? RBI is central bank. It is the apex bank. It is called as bankers bank. It is the government's bank, right? Right? It is the apex bank of the country. In India, like India, there are apex bank in all other countries. What are their functions? You know, what is their main function? Their main function is controlling of money supply. So how does the central bank control money supply? How does the central bank control money supply in the economy is studied in macroeconomics. There are two instruments. There are two instruments to control the money supply. These two instruments are quantitative instruments and qualitative instruments. These two instruments are quantitative instruments and qualitative instruments. We are going to study all these things. Okay, we are just saying now what all things we study in macroeconomics, right? So instruments of controlling of money supply, quantitative instruments and qualitative instruments. What are the constituents of money supply? मतलब what do we consider for calculation of money supply? To get the total money supply, we have to calculate कितना पैसा इकोनॉमी में है. How much money supply is there in the economy? We have to calculate. So calculation करने के लिए we have to know कि what all things should be considered. या सिर्फ करेंसी कैलकुलेट करना है, कॉइन्स कैलकुलेट करना है, मतलब काउंट करना है, डिमांड डिपॉजिट्स काउंट करना है, बैंकों में पैसा काउंट करना है, या आरबीआई में पैसा काउंट करना है. विच ऑल थिंग्स आर काउंटेड इन दी मनी सप्लाई दैट वी स्टडी इन मैक्रो इकोनॉमिक्स. सप्लाई ऑफ मनी, constituents, components, measurements, all those things are studied in macroeconomics, right? Now, demand for money. There are certain theories of demand for money. Famous theories are by Milton Friedman, then theory by Fisher, then there is Cambridge equation, then there is theory by Lord Keynes, quantity theory of money, liquidity preference theory. There are some theories on demand for money which we are going to study. What are the determinants of demand for money? Why money is demanded? Okay, all such things are studied in macroeconomics. So demand for money and supply of money we study in macroeconomics. Okay, next is banking. There are number of banks. There are various types of banks. If somebody can tell me types of banks, for example, I give you a clue. Commercial banks are there. Can somebody tell me another type of bank? For example, private banks are there. Then somebody can tell me government banks are there. They are called as public sector banks. Absolutely right, Shabir. Very nice, Shabir. Public sector banks. He said government banks, they are called as public sector banks. Then private sector banks, as I told you. Then which else? Foreign banks are there. Foreign banks are also there. Then scheduled banks are there. Non-scheduled banks are there. Cooperative banks are there. Rural banks are there. There are various types of banks. Central bank. Which is our central bank? RBI. RBI is our central bank. Can somebody tell me which is the central bank of USA, अमेरिका? जैसे हमारी RBI है, वैसे USA की भी उनकी बैंक होगी. कोई बोल सकता है? Can somebody tell me what is the name of central bank of USA, अमेरिका? या किसी भी देश की आप बैंक का नाम बता दो. Central bank. Swiss bank, I guess. Absolutely right, Grishma. Swiss bank, I don't think so is a central bank. It is, I think, a commercial bank. Very nice, Grishma. But it is a commercial bank. Very nice, Grishma. Very nice. But not a commercial bank. It is a commercial bank. जैसे बैंक ऑफ चाइना भी मैंने सुना है. आई एम नॉट श्योर, बट अमेरिका के सेंट्रल बैंक का नाम मुझे पता है. फेडरल रिजर्व, उसका नाम है फेडरल रिजर्व, राइट? Okay, so these are the central banks. So functions of central bank, functions of commercial banks, their liquidity, their assets, their functions, their role. These are the things we study in macroeconomics. Then financial instruments are there, financial intermediaries are there, financial markets are there. All those things we study in macroeconomics, right? hold on. Huh? Okay. So these are the this is the scope of macroeconomics. Okay. If somebody can tell me one by one the points. Which was the first point? Which was national income, if I remember, right? National income. Second point,
Consumption and investment.
consumption investment, right? Then
Third is supply of money and demand for money.
absolutely right. Demand for money and supply. Then
Fourth is banking.
banking, absolutely right. Then
Fourth,
then public finance,
yeah,
right?
public.
Right? I just note this down, all those things. You please tell me one by one. Huh? We are just noting it down for our reference. Right? I'm just sharing one screen. 1 second. Just hold on. Huh? Hold on, please. Okay, I'm going to share my screen now. So no, afterwards also we can use it. When you see this lecture again on YouTube, you will remember all those points. Can you see this screen now?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So the nature and scope of
Macroeconomics.
macroeconomics, right?
Yeah.
Okay. First introduction. What do we say here? What is macroeconomics? Okay. What is macroeconomics? What is macroeconomics? Macroeconomics is the study of aggregate aggregates. Okay. It does not study
Individual.
the individual units. It studies the entire population. Right? What is the problem here? Okay. Then scope of macroeconomics. Everybody can see. I'm sure everyone can see this screen. What is the first point? As we said,
National income.
What is second?
Employment and unemployment.
Employment and
Unemployment.
unemployment. Right. Third, Third,
Price level of index.
price,
Price level.
price index, rise. Yes, rise here. Or general price level. Right? Next. What is next?
Public finance.
Public finance. Right. Next.
Under which it is first is public revenue.
Yes. In public finance, there are three things. Public revenue. You want
Public
me?
expenditure.
Yeah. I noted down here if you want. Public revenue. Then public
Expenditure.
expenditure. Then
And public debt.
public debt. Right. Okay. Then next one. This all comes under public finance. The next one. Somebody tell me, please.
Demand for money and supply. Sorry,
Right.
demand for money and supply for money.
Right. Demand for money and supply of money. And
Banking.
banking. Absolutely right. And then then there are few more things. I told you, I remember.
Types of banks.
That comes under banking, right?
Yeah. Under demand for money and supply of money, there are two instruments. For
That I
controlling the
explained. That I explained. I told you one more thing. Remember this? Remember this?
Yeah. Yes. Consumption and
Consumption and
investment.
investment, right? और कुछ बोला था मैंने? किसी ने नोट डाउन किया है?
Yeah, sir. So that's it.
That's all. One more thing I should actually remember: population.
So it comes under the meaning and scope of macroeconomics.
Huh?
It comes under the meaning and the scope of macroeconomics.
Yes. I tell you what is it. Repeat. What did you say?
It comes under the meaning and the scope of macroeconomics, the population and all.
Population. Yes.
It's not like
That is also one of the topics. That is also one of the things which we study.
Yeah.
Population, characteristics of population, birth rate, death rate, causes of increasing population. All those things also we study in macroeconomics. That is also one of the topics of macroeconomics. People are joining now. Okay, so these are the important things once. So these are the important things which we study. So this is scope of macroeconomics. Okay, and these are the topics. Right? So this is our first chapter, first topic. What is the name of the chapter or topic? Not what is macroeconomics, this one. The nature and scope of macroeconomics. I just put this on one page. Can you see all now? So nature and scope of macroeconomics, we have to say some introduction. Then what is macroeconomics in that? Macroeconomics ka one sentence I have written. And scope of macroeconomics. National income we study, employment, unemployment, price index, general price level, public finance, demand for money, supply of money, banking, consumption and investment, and population. Nature and scope of macroeconomics. Right? Chalo. So, anybody has any doubt? I'm checking your chat. If anybody has Shabir, very nice Shabir, beta. He has written all the entire list. He said national income, employment, unemployment, price level, public finance, demand for money, supply of money, banking, everything. Very nice, Shabir. Very nice. Fantastic. Chalo. So, so now doubt clearing question and answer session. Please ask me one by one all the questions. I'll answer all the questions. I'm sure you must be having number of questions in your mind regarding everything. Not only on this topic, you can ask me all other questions. You can also type in the chat box if you have any question. So you can come on the screen or you can type in the chat box. You can ask any question regarding this topic or regarding anything. After this, immediately this lecture, I'm going to send you one exam, one small test, and with your all permission, I'm going to post this on YouTube. You can again see this lecture on YouTube. What is the name of the lecture? I'll send you the link of the lecture. Okay, in the WhatsApp group only. You can visit. Only request you please subscribe so that you immediately get to know if any video is uploaded. Okay, any lecture is uploaded. So as soon as you visit the YouTube, you please subscribe the channel. Neelu, thank you. Chalo, any question please ask about exam, about anything. Please ask. Thank you, Saili. Thank you, Sonali. Yes, yes, I'm reading your chat. Nobody has any question? So we wind up now. Are we winding up? Nobody has any question? I would be very happy if somebody asks me any question. In fact, I am interested in answering the question. Acha, Grishma is asking me how is your quarantine going on? Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you, Grishma. Quarantine is very bad. Got very bored, here sitting at home. Can't do anything. But I'm using my time productively, doing so many things. I'm writing research paper. I'm giving lectures. If anybody want to share their views on quarantine, most welcome. How are you utilizing your time at home? So I assume that there is no question. Everybody has understood clearly. So now I'm winding up and this lecture will be available on YouTube. Immediately after this lecture, I am going to share the link on YouTube. Okay, so all other students are requested to visit the YouTube. You all people also visit again the YouTube and watch this lecture, right? So again and again you can see and you can understand. If you see again and again, you will understand the topic, right? So I'm going to end the lecture. Thank you everyone. I'm really happy you have come all the way for my lecture, and tomorrow again we will decide about the time, but most probably it will be around 7 or whenever you say. Okay, I'll give you, it all depends on you. Whenever it is possible, whether it is possible daytime, absolutely fine, evening time, absolutely fine, anything. Okay, so bye everyone, take care, stay safe, wash your hands, put mask on your mouth and take care. Okay, bye.